there a difference between this time and your first time being a part of the World 1000?
Absolutely. Um, there's just a lot fewer unknowns this time around. There's always going to be some stress involved in the race. There's just a lot to deal with in offshore sailing, but there's just so much more that we know about what the full picture of the race really is this time around, and it just takes that level of stress way down for sure.
So, when it comes to the ups and downs of the mental stress, of the physical stress, how do you and your crew member or your teammate handle that out there offshore?
We just talk with each other. You know, the waves and the wind are one thing. It's really just about being out there for so long in any given day. So before you get to the race, you do worry about how windy is it going to be? How big are those waves going to be? When you're out there, you realize it's not so much big waves and 30 knot breeze. It's really just being out there in big waves and 30 knot breeze for 8, 12 hours. So to get through that, you just, work with your partner. It's good to have somebody you know well. And, we just know each other's traits. And, Hardy's maybe a little more on the conservative side, and I'm maybe a little bit more reckless, if you want to say that. But I think together, we kind of balance each other out.
So, you being the reckless one, is it many times where he has to be like, hey, 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 this might do something to affect us in a way, and you guys have a nice little blend of how to bring that together?
Yeah, it usually works out like, I'm wanting to, maybe push a little harder or get out on the trap a little further or, bring it upwind, build the speed a little bit more. But, the waves are big and Hardy's, will be like, well, we just don't want to break anything. And I'm like, that's a good point. So we settle somewhere in the middle, generally speaking. And we have had breakdowns and you can't push these boats too hard. I mean, you do, but in this race, it's not just, going out there and being fast is one thing, but you got to get your boat and your body and the whole crew, including the ground crew, 1,000 miles offshore. So you got to find the balance between pushing hard and saving your equipment.
Thus far, I know we're like halfway through the World 1000 race, and I know everybody talks about how Tybee was the difficult one. Is that the go-to difficult when it comes to the World 1000 race?
I think so. It's difficult because it's long, and you get in the dark, and you're really tired, and it's those things that make it difficult. Going around the capes are always difficult, and depending on the wind direction, it can be downright treacherous. But you can get through it, and that's what we've learned. Having done it once already and being in it again, you realize that you can kind of we broke rudders. We ended up on the broke dagger boards. We ended up on the beach, and even that, you do the repair. You push the boat back into the ocean. It's blowing 30, but you'll make it. You can figure out how to hang in there and get there. It's really just the length of the whole race and the individual legs, and that's why Tybee's hard. That's why the Tybee leg is hard.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about Tybee, but it's another one. Is it Hatteras where you guys is another
Cape
issue
Hatteras.
one?
Yeah, Cape Hatteras. Luckily, that's our home turf. We've been down that way a bit. We know that cape, but it's a thing to get around, and especially it's just about the shoaling and the waves and the breaking waves. You don't want to go. The question is, how far do you want to go out to get around the shoals? You don't want to go out too far because you're just sailing extra distance, and everybody's trying to be competitive. But if you go inshore, you can get caught in some big waves, and you can break your boat. Yeah.
Understand. Now, again, I tell people I'm the modern day hippie. I love to hear about the marine life that you guys see out there. Have you had any encounters outside of the turtles? Have you had any encounters with the marine
Yeah.
life?
Yeah, it's great. It is one of the best parts. One of the things is generally down in Florida, there's like tons of flying fish. Your boat will come along and scare up like a flock, if you can call them that, of flying fish, and they just fly along with you for 30 seconds, plunge back into the water. That's pretty cool. We saw a whale breach this trip. We had a shark come right between the hulls, going the other way, and tons of dolphin for sure.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you guys had a nice little array
We did. It
of
was
them.
good this year. In the beginning, we were like, man, all we're seeing is flying fish. But then, as we got further north, we saw a whole bunch of stuff.
That's pretty cool. Now, we've had a couple of teams come in here and speak of the importance of the crew members on the land and how they push you, how they support you guys, how they keep you guys going. What is your take on the importance of crew members for you guys?
It's absolutely critical. Um, they, they take care of the boat. They do a lot of the work that you just could not do. These legs are long, it's tiring, and they really kind of bring up your spirits. They give you a lot of like moral support, and they're just